Good Sunday evening, everybody. Forecaster Josiah Acheampong here, providing a brief update at this point in time as we are tracking several severe storms making their way through from Kansas into the Oklahoma Panhandles region. Right now, just taking a quick overview, looking at the movement of some of those storms. Again, some of them are severe at this point in time. We are noticing some of them are in fact maintaining or even gaining strength. For example, we're going to move over to this new severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued for portions of Beaver County as well as Lipscomb County. That one will last until 9:45 this evening. With that in mind, this has been actually warned for tennis ball sized hail in this new um, Lipscomb and Beaver County update with this severe thunderstorm warning. Tennis ball sized hail, as well as winds 70 miles an hour. However, there does exist a previous destructive severe thunderstorm warning that is still in effect until 9:15 for Beaver, Oklahoma. That for Beaver County, Oklahoma, I should say, which does encompass portions of Slap Out and Gate. Gate, you're now on the back end of some of the worst winds, hail, and rain associated with some of this storm. Slap Out, you're on the southern end of this storm. But you might be experiencing portions of heavy rain, even some hail associated with this storm, and it continues to move in the east southeasterly direction. In fact, I'm actually going to change my radar to get a better look. There we go. That's a much better look. Now that we see um, some of these darker hues and colors starting to fill in there, indicating some really cold cloud tops, meaning a really strong updraft. So associated with that often comes really large hail. So we have seen this update to a tennis ball sized hail with winds up to 70 miles an hour. And no doubt travel is difficult with heavy rain. So if you are anywhere in this both destructive and regular severe thunderstorm warning, I would seek shelter immediately because we're talking about tennis ball sized hail in this case, being whipped around in 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts on occasion. Now, this storm specifically, back when it was a part, when it was in Kansas, it had a history of wind gusts up to 85 miles an hour. That was measured back at the Dodge City Airport earlier this evening. So, this storm has a history of really strong and gusty winds, as well as hail now up to tennis ball size as it continues to move in a southeasterly direction, now encompassing portions of Lipscomb County, so Follette, um, and Sherlock. You're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that, as well as Lipscomb. You also do fall inside of that polygon as well at this point in time. Now, our second severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect over portions of Oklahoma, Cimarron County, as well as Texas County. This is going to be labeled for teacup sized, golf ball sized hail and winds up to 70 miles an hour with this one in specific. It looks like over the last couple of frames, it has lost a bit of its intensity. It's colder cloud tops over the last couple of frames. In fact, we can play it back just to get a look at what it was like when it was crossing over the Kansas Oklahoma border. You can see some of those darker colors and all that frequent lightning, and in fact, you start to see some shades of white. But then over the last 5 minutes or so, and the last couple of scans, you see it right now at this point in time losing some of its intensity. Now, a little bit about this storm specifically. At one point, it had a history of producing teacup sized hail. So that's about 3 inches in diameter. In addition to that, this cell in particular um, did have a tornado warning attached to it earlier on in portions of Kansas as it was moving its way down, but it has since lost that kind of rotation. And in fact, just to make sure, we're looking at the velocity. Right now, we're just seeing lots of bright reds. If we were seeing any kind of rotation, you'd see the reds and greens kind of overlap, but that's not what we're really seeing in this cell at this moment in time. However, taking a look over here, back at our storm here on the eastern side, again, we can see that strong dark color here, possibly indicating portions of some heavy hail again and some strong downpours as well. Just going to leave you here with this real All right, everybody, I am back. So right now, taking a look at where we stand with some of these storms. Again, we still do have two severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect for portions of both the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. So taking a quick look at the one that's going on out east, it seems to be on a weakening trend for the National Weather Service. It seems to be weakening just a bit. It's downgraded its hail size from the tennis ball from before, now down to lime size or so. So, I mean, it's still quite large in terms of the size of hail, and then the winds around 70 miles an hour. So, that hail is possibly being tossed around. So, my best advice is again, stay away from windows if you can. Don't want you to get cut by any glass that might break as these storms continue to move through portions of southern Beaver Town County. Slap out, you're now on the northwestern side of this storm that since made its way through your area. Logan, looks like you missed the bulk of it. Follette seems to be passing you to your north and east. So right now it seems to be skating off east into uh, further areas of Oklahoma, where it will no doubt still possibly maintain some of its intensity before maybe weakening a little bit later. But at this point in time, the severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for Beaver and Lipscomb County goes until 9:45 Central Time, and it's warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds as well as hail that is lime size. So that can be no doubt doing some damage to property, breaking glass as well. Now taking a quick look over to portions of Texas and Cimarron County at this point in time, we see that this storm has been losing its steam a little bit. Earlier this evening, it had really cold cloud top. In fact, we can run that back a little bit. Right when it came through Elkhart or just west of Elkhart, you can see those dark purples right there. And then over the last 20 minutes or so, it started to lose some of that definition and some of its steam. But this storm all night has been defying the odds in terms of its intensity. Whenever you think that it's, fading away, it's been resurfacing, recharging itself. With some energy. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that as it continues to move in a uh, southward motion over the next couple of minutes or so. And right now, I mean, this is currently warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds as well as quarter-sized hail, and it's moving south at 45 miles an hour. So right now, again, this is kind of on the weaker side in terms of its severity, but no doubt it is a severe warrant storm. So you definitely want to make sure that you are taking precautions, staying off the roads, especially if you're in Doolin at this time. Eva, Sturgis seems like it's missing you just to your east. Hopkins, same situation, but to the south. Should this storm maintain its intensity or regenerate itself, Texhoma, Griggs, Texhoma, you're outside of the current polygon for the severe thunderstorm warning, but Griggs, Goodwell, Unity, you're all still within that polygon right now as it's starting to move toward Highway 412 or Route 412 right there as it continues to move further south over portions of Texas counties. So, but Texhoma, while you are outside of the polygon at this point in time, you do just want to keep an eye to the sky because even if this does lose isn't its intensity, while you may not possibly be dealing with some of the worst of it, you will definitely no doubt be dealing with some gusty conditions, heavy downpours, as well as this storm continues to move in this direction. Again, a little history about this one. This one was packing a punch over portions of western Kansas over the last several hours. It did have a tornado warning attached to it earlier this evening. That's no longer the case, but it's still been regenerating time and time again. So it's something I've been keeping my eye on. But at this point in time, the severe thunderstorm warning does expire at 9:30 for sure. But even taking a look right now at this cell that's situated over portions of Liberal in Kansas, in Seward, Kansas. It's making its way over into portions of western Beaver County. Earlier this evening, I mean, this storm also was looking quite favorable in terms of its development and its health. But at this point in time, it seems to be on a weakening trend. And again, we can play it back just to see what it was looking like not that long ago uh, as it was crossing over from Liberal. It started to weaken just to the east of Liberal, and then it's been on this weakening trend as it's moving south and east, similar to the bigger storm that's out ahead of it, now making its way over portions of western Kansas. Now, tonight we've talked about a little bit during our forecast during one of our shows about how today's threat for storms was conditional, meaning storms that did fire up this evening could pack a punch. In fact, taking a look at the severe outlook, in some cases, some of these storms have even superseded some of the threats that the National Weather Service had predicted could be an issue. For example, lime-sized hail. We've seen storms that have been labeled destructive for baseball-sized hail in certain instances. The wind, we've had 85-mile-an-hour wind gusts um, coming out of Dodge City, but that cell, when it made its way over into Kansas, 80-mile-an-hour winds it was warned for. Tornado threat has been very low, and flooding remains isolated only because of the pace at which these storms continue to move over the area. We could take a look back at the movement of some of these storms and almost play it out a bit. This storm here, let's see, that storm is moving about 35 miles an hour, uh, moving to the south and east away from Slapout, Follette. It looks like they're dealing with some steady to moderate rainfall, even a couple rumbles of thunder, no doubt. But the worst of this storm seems to be exiting the region. I would not be surprised if in the next couple of minutes the National Weather Service does end up trimming some portions outside of this polygon, but we'll wait for their call for sure. But again, this storm continues to move in an east southeasterly direction, with the worst of it seeming to now move over into the Oklahoma portion. So if you're in Catesby, even down near Gage, Cheney, you're starting to see some of the worst portions of that storm. Although it's outside of our DMA, you never know who might be watching. If you know anybody out there, have them make sure that they are seeking shelter in the inner portions of their home. Because again, although these storms may be losing steam at this point in time, we're still talking about anywhere between an inch to 2 inch hail being blown around by anywhere between 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds. So no doubt that can cause some minor damage to some property, cars, windows. So hence the advisory for myself to make sure that you are seeking the inner portions of your home as these stronger storms, severe storms, continue to make their way further south and east. However, at large, while we are currently seeing severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, we still have a severe thunderstorm watch that's currently in effect and will last until 3 a.m. Now, just a brief differentiation between watches and warnings. Probably heard it before. Watch simply means that the conditions for severe storm development is favorable, meaning that it's not currently happening, but at some point it could because the environment is favorable for those severe storms to occur. Today, we were kind of dealing with this conditional isolated storm threat that seems to have made its case today because we weren't too sure whether or not these storms would survive. We did have a really good cap over the area in addition to really good shear. So you had some positive portions for some of these storms to take off. We also didn't have very warm temperatures today. So the atmosphere really wasn't charged, and it's still drained from yesterday's storms, especially this area that saw very strong storms, severe storms, make its way through the area yesterday as well. So what we're seeing is the atmosphere is trying to maintain some of these storms, hence why we have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect. That simply means that you can expect hail at least 1 inch in diameter, as well as for winds of 58 mile an hour. But a warning like what we're seeing now over portions of Lipscomb, uh, portions of um, portions of Lipscomb and Beaver County, what you're experiencing there, severe thunderstorm warning in addition to Texas and Cimarron County, which you also have as a warning, meaning that a storm is currently capable of producing hail at least 1 inch in diameter or greater in some cases, as well as 50-mile-an-hour winds or greater. So numerous times today, these storms have excelled in terms of their severity and what they have produced at this point in time. But I want to turn us back right over into what is currently happening on radar so you all can get a sense of what this is currently looking like at this present moment. So right back here. Yeah. So as expected, it looks like they trimmed portions of Beaver County out of the severe thunderstorm warning, as well as letting the previous destructive severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for eastern portions of Beaver County to expire as it was predicted to. But we still do have a severe thunderstorm warning that encompasses southeastern portions of Beaver County, including Logan, Slapout, even some smaller areas as well down there in the eastern portion, southeastern portions of Beaver County. But in Lipscomb County, Follett, right now you might be seeing some strong winds associated with this storm, downpours, light to moderate rainfall, definitely rumbles of thunder, frequent lightning. Let me see if I can actually find um, a good view of the storm. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So this is our fallout cam there. Looking at some of these storms, you can see again the frequent lightning that we were seeing. You could see the low cloud tops, or the relatively low clouds there in the background as those storms roll through. You could see some raindrops on the camera at this point in time. Um, no doubt, as that rain continues to fall, although it is not raining heavy at this point in time. It is something that we are continuing to monitor. But no doubt, a really nice perspective to be able to see these storms with the frequent lightning. You're able to make out the different components of the storm right now there in Follett. But taking a quick look again back at our radar, we're going to take a look here at this severe thunderstorm warning that's issued currently for Texas County. The National Weather Service will soon be replacing the previous one that expires at 9:30 and will be creating a new one. That one will be warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds and half dollar sized hail. So just about the criteria for severe thunderstorm development um, at this point in time. But no doubt this storm is is on a downward trend in terms of its intensity. We'll continue to monitor it as it continues to move in that southerly direction. But if you are in fact, let's actually, let me see if I can, the storm is moving south 45. All right, there we go. So, per the previous update, it seems as though the storm was moving at 45 miles an hour. Ah, there's the new warning. So the new severe thunderstorm warning will encompass extreme eastern portions of Cimarron County as well as Texas County, including this time portions of Texoma. Um, It'll include portions of Texoma. So if you are in this new polygon or even in the previous one, although it does expire in the next 3 minutes, the new one will include Doolin right now. No doubt seeing heavy downpours. And again, uh, it's currently being warned for uh, $half sized hail associated with it. And in fact, we can see that it's starting to try and regenerate itself, that core there, but no doubt is still overall weaker than what it has been. Eva, Hopkins, you're seeing some heavy downpours, even some wind. If you want to take a look at the velocity showing the winds aloft at this point in time, not that overall impressive in terms of the movement of wind, all kind of moving in the same direction. In fact, aloft, some of these brighter reds indicating 58-mile-an-hour winds. Up in the higher layers of the atmosphere there. Um, you're not seeing any extreme wind movements or even rotation in this storm at this point in time. Although in the past it did have a history there of creating a tornado warning at one point in western Kansas. But taking a look back at the velocity, the storm continues to move south. The new warning has it moving this storm. Thunderstorm warning. So sorry, let me see. They haven't put it in the chat, but the previous warning had this moving at about 45 miles an hour. They haven't yet issued it here, but I can check here. There we go. Yeah, so this storm is moving south at 15 miles an hour. 15, so moving a little bit slower than at a previous point. But let's see who may be at the highest risk of experiencing this storm with it moving at 15 miles an hour. So Texoma right now, but let me extend it to now include just a longer duration. Let's go out about an hour and a half. Yeah. So Texoma, Stevens, you're probably going to be the next major victims of this storm should it maintain its strength, continue down. But at this point in time, Texoma, you are currently listed inside that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, currently warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds, as well as $half sized hail. Yeah. So overall, we're seeing that the environment for these storms remain favorable for severe thunderstorm development. But at this point in time, it does look like generally this storm is both of these cells, this supercell and also this storm out east, are capable of still having severe components attached to them. And in the last couple of minutes or so, the National Weather Service has since trimmed the severe thunderstorm warning here, just simply to include eastern portions of Lipscomb County, including Magoon. They're out east, just southeast of Follette, but heading again in that southeasterly direction as well. No doubt, Magoon, you're seeing some really heavy rainfall, possibly some gusty winds as that storm continues to move south and east. But again, this is set to expire at 9:45. I wouldn't be shocked if the National Weather Service does allow that to expire. But coming back over to this one, I mean, this storm has been resilient, um, for the lack of a better term. I mean, this storm throughout the day has been on the western flank of Kansas all day and has had ebbs and flows in its severe thunderstorm development and its intensity. It has cycled numerous times there, but at this point in time, it seems as though it is starting to fire up yet another cold up draft. I mean, I've said it once, I've said it twice. This storm has exceeded expectations, um, at least by me, um, in terms of its resiliency. You might notice these storms kind of have uh, some heavy downpours that favor a southeasterly trend to it. That's because we have some really good wind shear aloft, about 30 to 40 knots or so. So at one point we were concerned about whether or not these storms would actually happen, um, at least in eastern New Mexico. Earlier today, we had some concerns with those storms that were trying to create some cold up drafts, but they weren't able to mature because the environment was so hostile for them. So they ended up fizzling out. But this storm was able to mature in a really favorable environment over western Kansas and has since continued to move to the south, which has been favorable, hence the severe thunderstorm watch that's in place until 3 a.m. But at this point in time, this storm here continues to be resilient with Texoma right now, still in the polygon for this storm. You can expect it to arrive over the next half hour or so. Uh, Doolin right now, you're being spared as it's continuing to move in that southerly direction, just exiting you. Hopkins, Eva, you're starting to get a little reprieve, but don't sigh too much relief because right behind it has been this cell that has continued to develop and blossom. uh, Develop and blossom right behind it. We could take a look at its development. I mean, you can just watch it kind of sit there, meander, and then just blossom there. So definitely something to watch there, though, as that storm continues to develop, no doubt. But again, taking a look at the panhandle at large, all these yellow boxes indicating severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect until 3 a.m. Central Time. And then these smaller polygons that you notice here flashing, indicating severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect. We still have this one out here east in Lipscomb County. That storm, the bulk of the storm has since moved further east. Um, Magoon, you're now experiencing probably lighter rainfall rates at this point in time. At this point in time, you're seeing some of the heaviest bands of rain continue, but I continue to be intrigued by this storm here as it continues to move along here to its south. I want to take a look at storm relative velocity. So this bright red indicating some really strong winds aloft, um, probably around 60 miles an hour. So let's check. Oh, 56. Let me clear it. 56, 49. Oh, I don't want that. But yeah, anywhere between 50 to 60 miles an hour aloft. You're seeing some gusty winds still associated with this storm as it continues to defy all odds, continues to um, move to the south at about 15 miles an hour per the last update. Again, these storms are continuing to move into a relatively favorable environment in terms of storm development. Right now, we're noticing these storms to continue to move to the south, southeast. The bulk of this storm here, that's still warned out in eastern Lipscomb County. That storm, the bulk of it has since moved further east, but behind it is light, moderate to steady rainfall. It's probably still hearing crackles of thunder, seeing lightning, frequent flashes of lightning. No doubt. In fact, we could probably still take a look at our sky cam there in Follett to see what they might be seeing. Yeah, you still see the flashes of lightning there in the background. See those low clouds. But Follett has since been spared from some of the worst parts of this storm at this point in time. Very bright lightning, I'll tell you that much. There we go. There we go. About 5 minutes or so left on the severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Lipscomb County. And then we still have the severe thunderstorm warning listed. Ooh, excuse me. Listed for portions of Texas County. Right now, it seems to be straddling. Uh, it seems to be straddling this uh, Cimarron and Texas County state line, or county line rather, as it passed south of Doolin, now making its way, at least the core portion of it, um, just east of Griggs. I mean, getting super close. There are a couple homes, mainly farmland out there, but no doubt if you are in this polygon, I would say just east, southeast of Griggs. If you are in Texhoma, just west of Texhoma, in that general area, you do just want to make sure you are watching for this storm to make its way through the area. Now, over the last couple of frames or so, you see this darkening here, meaning really cold cloud tops. And in fact, the National Weather Service is going to increase the hail size back up to golf ball sized hail. It's about 1.75 inches or so golf ball sized hail with 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's mainly due to what they're noticing as well with the darkening there happening, um, indicating really um, nice updraft going on there as well. So we'll be keeping our eye on that as well. But again, they have since upped They have since upped this severe thunderstorm warning to include the fact that hail inside of it is likely about golf ball sized with 60-mile-an-hour winds as well. And it seems as though the bulk of this severe thunderstorm warning has the content, at least the rain, has since shifted further east. So they're probably going to let this expire in the next 3 minutes or so as the worst of that severe weather has since moved along. But again, at this point in time, we still do have this feisty supercell making its way south, just straddling the Cimarron County and Cimarron County and Texas County county line, moving just west, at least the bulk of it, the heart of it, moving just west of Texoma, moving toward Griggs. The last update had it moving about 15 miles an hour. Let me just double check to make sure. It's now moving south at 25 miles an hour. So let me just indicate, who might be next up in terms of impacts as this storm makes its way through. Ooh, let's try that again. Moving at 25 miles an hour. So over the next hour or so, should this storm continue to maintain its strength and intensity, Stevens, Stratford, you definitely want to keep your eye out as the core of this storm seems to be moving in your direction, moving to the south with a slight southwest tilt to it, but no doubt moving south along the Cimarron and Texas County line. But at this point in time, I will leave you here. We'll end with a quick look at the area at large, so you can get a sense of what everything looks like. You can see mainly stratiform rain here over portions of Beaver, Lipscomb, and Ochiltree County here. Light to moderate rain. Uh, Currently near Guyman, you're experiencing some light rainfall overall, but the heaviest batch and the most concerning is going to be the severe thunderstorm warning that lasts until 10:30 Central Time for Texas and eastern portions of Cimarron County. Again, I will leave you here in about 15 minutes or so. We'll be going live on air on Channel 7. So make sure you tune in for updates there, and I will no doubt be updating as the night progresses and as the storms continue to move further to the south and southeast. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and thank you so much for tuning in.